Chapter 2 is all about decimals. So we're going to start off just by reviewing what they are and their place values, and being able to write them out and do some basic comparisons with them. So first up, there's a place value chart here to remind you. So on the left side of the decimal point, from the decimal point working out, we have our ones position, then tens, then hundreds, then thousands, and so on and so on and so on. After the decimal point on the right side, there is no such thing as the oneths. We start straight away with the tenths. The second position is called the hundredths. The third position is the thousandths. And we would keep going. 10,000ths, 100,000ths, millionths, so on and so on and so on. Now, I'm going to take these three numbers and write them out in various forms. You can do all three. I'm going to erase as I go. I would strongly recommend you copy the last one. So the first number here, in standard form, is 0.835. Expanded form means you write it out by its place value. So it's going to be 0 plus 0.8, the number in the tenths place, plus 0.03, the number in the hundredths place, plus 0.005, the number in the thousands place. Now, how do we write this using words? Well, that is, said properly, 835 thousandths. So we would just write 800 and 35 thousandths. And I will apologize now for every one of these videos you ever see me do. My handwriting on them is not going to be very good. It's because I'm writing on an iPad and the screen capture is not the best. I think it's still legible enough as I'm saying things out loud, you'll be okay. So this is 835 thousandths. Now, the next number there, so I've got to get rid of all this, is 14.9. So in standard form, it looks like this, just 14.9. In expanded form, where we will write it out by its place value, we have a number in the tens position, plus a number in the ones position, plus a number in the tenths position, 10 and 4 and 9. In word form, this is 14 and 9 tenths. And when writing out in word form, the decimal point is said and. So this is 14 and 9 tenths. And again, I need to get rid of this so I can do the last number here. And this is the one I suggest everybody copy if you haven't been copying along, and that's okay. Standard form, this is 361.020. And since I gave it to you with that last zero on the end, you can't drop it off now. Sorry. Expanded form, this is a long one, because we have a 300, a 60, a 1, nothing, so 0.0, a 0.02, and a 0.000. I have to write down one thing for each position, and there are 6 different positions used here. So I have 6 different things to add. 300, 60, 1, and the 2 in the hundredths position. Now, how do we write this out in word form? Everything to the left of the decimal point, easy. 361. So that's 361. And Now we've got to look at how we're going to say this second back half. Technically, it goes all the way to the thousands position, so 0 to 0. Well, the best number we could call that is 20. 0 to 0 is best called 20. 20 what's? Well, what position does it end in? The third after the decimal, so that is 20 thousandths. 20 thousandths. So different forms. Comparison. Okay. So here's how I look at these when I compare. I look at the first digit, they're the same. Look at the second digit, they're the same. Look at the third digit now, and the 2 is bigger than the 0, so this is a greater than. By the way, don't forget to make sure that there's the same number of numbers in front of the decimal point. Like, these are both 1 point things, so that's fine. Before the decimal point, we have ones that are the same. But after the decimal point, the next digit is 1 and a 0. Those are different. I can compare those. 1 is bigger than 0. And I don't need to look at anything else. Okay? On this last group, 1 and 1 are the same, so they don't tell me anything. But 0 and 1 are different, so I can compare them right now. 1 is bigger than 0, so this gets a less than symbol. I don't need the 2, 3 here because 1 and 0 are different. I just have to find the first place where these numbers have different values to compare them. And last up, put these two lists in order from least to greatest. Okay, so these first top list is all 1.1 type numbers. So their first digits are all the same. But their second digits are all different. 5, 9, 3, and 7. Which means this is going to be the first number, because 3 is smallest, 5 is second smallest, 7 is third smallest, and 9 is biggest. So from least to greatest, this is 1.35, 1.55, 1.75, and 1.95. In our next list, we again have a bunch of numbers that all have 1 point, so the first numbers are all the same. Now the second numbers, we have 2 that are zeros and 2 that are ones. Obviously the 2 things that have zeros must come before the 2 things that have ones. The 2 things that have zeros then proceed to have 2's that are common before this third number goes on another place. That makes 1.02 the smaller number, because 1.023 going to another place, the thousands position, it's a longer number. That means it's going to be a little bit bigger, because the first 3 numbers are all the same. So 1.023 is slightly more than 1.02. And now for the 1.1 numbers on the beginning and end, we are comparing 0 and 1. Well, hey, those are different. 0 comes before 1. So in order, we have 1.02, 1.023, 1.108, and 1.11.